So welcome everyone. So I see everyone's joining now. So we will give just 1 minute for everyone to join, and we can start the webinar. So welcome, and can everyone hear my voice?
Yes, it's all good, Jinson.
Thank you, Roberta. So good afternoon, everyone. So I'm very delighted to welcome you to today's webinar on current status of DTx reimbursement and adoption in South Korea. So we'll be discussing about opportunities for local and international companies. So my name is Jinsul Kim, and I'm an associate principal here at Eversana. So we're the knowledge partner of Digital Therapeutics Alliance in APAC. So it's an exciting time for DTx as we witness its growing impact on healthcare worldwide, and Korea has emerged as a significant market for DTx in the APAC region. And as Korean market comes with unique challenges and opportunities related to reimbursement and adoption, we wanted to explore these critical topics today. We're very fortunate to have an expert panel of speakers with deep knowledge and diverse perspectives who will guide us through today's conversation. And I'm very confident that their insights will help you better understand the nuances of DTx market in Korea and how companies can successfully navigate this evolving landscape. So we have Professor Tae-Hwa Han. She's a professor at Yonsei University Medical Center. She's an advisor to the Korean Society for Digital Therapy and serves as the head of the Roadmap Committee for the Smart Medical Device Standard Expert Forum. She also leads the Health IT Industrialization Support Center. And we also have Dr. Danny Kim. He's a pharmacist by training, and he's heading Wealth USA. He focuses on leveraging technology to improve access to quality care. He's a board member of Digital Therapeutics Alliance and advises the Korean government on digital health initiatives. Previously, he worked with PillPack and Pear Therapeutics. We also have Mr. Yong-Woo Kim. He's a CEO of MDREX. He has over 20 years of experience in regulatory affairs, reimbursement, and medical data utilization within digital health and medical devices. His expertise is in navigating cloud SaaS and SAMD and other compliance issues. He spent over a decade as a specialist at Kim & Chang and worked at the Medical Device Review Department of the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety, overseeing approvals for a range of medical devices, including SAMD and SIMD. And we also have Mr. Won-Woo Lee. He's a CEO and Vice President of MDREX. He brings extensive expertise in driving successful investment opportunities across healthcare, medical devices, and insurance. Previous at Kim & Chang, he advised global clients on RA, QA, MD, and BD matters related to entering the Korean market, regulatory compliance, and product lifecycle management for pharmaceutical and medical device companies. And we have Dr. Jae-Young Shin. He's a professor at Department of Preventive Medicine at Yonsei University. He's a board-certified physician in preventive medicine and dermatology. He serves as an expert on the Innovative Medical Device R&D Expert Committee, professor at Yonsei University, and founder CEO of EverTry. He advises digital health companies on new health technology and innovative medical technology assessments, helping them to conduct cost-effectiveness evaluations to build evidence for commercialization. And we also have Soo-Jong Yu, who's a junior consultant at MDREX. She specializes in regulatory approvals for AI, SAMD, and digital therapeutic devices, including KGMP compliance, and managing both inbound and outbound operations across Europe, US, Taiwan, and Korea. And yeah, so with today's webinar, we will be going through several topics and presentations. Stephanie, if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So after my welcome message. So we will be starting the presentation with reimbursement guidelines for digital therapeutics in Korea by Mr. Won-Woo Lee, followed by promotion of DTx industry for global expansion, establishment of open platform to support DTx by Dr. Professor Shin. Opportunities for local and international companies by Dr. Kim, and standardization of DTx usability evaluation by Professor Han. After the presentations by expert panel of speakers, I'll be moderating panel discussion on recommendations for local and international companies looking to launch DTx in Korea from both regulatory and reimbursement angles. Then we'll be concluding today's webinar with closing remarks by Dr. Sarna. So before we begin, I'd like to again thank all of our speakers and participants for joining us today. Your engagement is essential in driving forward the discussions on how DTx can continue to shape the future of healthcare. And with this, I would like to hand over to Mr. Lee for his presentation.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Won Lee from MDREX. Today, I will be briefly discussing the reimbursement guidelines for digital therapeutics in Korea. Today, after a short introduction about MDREX, I will go over the market access process for innovative medical devices and technology, then discuss the introduction of temporary reimbursement listing system for DTx products, and lastly, describe the current listing status of DTx products in Korea. About MDREX. We are a Korea-based boutique medical device consulting firm providing a one-stop solution for medical device and digital health companies. Our scope of work ranges from market research and strategy buildup for market entry, product approval, KGMP certification, reimbursement listing, and most relevant to today's topic, new health technology assessment and innovative device and technology determination. We also support clinical trials with collaborations with our domestic and international partner CROs, and provide Korea license holding services for foreign manufacturers as they need a legal importer to commercialize their products in Korea. Next, a brief introduction to the market access procedure that every medical device used in hospitals must go through to be commercialized in Korea. Before we begin, I would like to bring attention to a few terms and explain how they are defined by the MFDS, the governing body on medical devices in Korea. New health technology is defined as a new medical technology that is different than an existing technology in its target, purpose, or method. When the safety and effectiveness of the new technology is confirmed through meta-analysis on clinical data and studies, it will be considered a new health technology. Innovative health technology is a new medical technology with confirmed safety, but although having potential, lacks clinical data to confirm its effectiveness. In practice, the governing body will also consider its market feasibility when making its determination. Next, digital therapeutics or DTx. I assume most of you are already quite familiar with this topic. In Korea, it is defined as a SAMD that provides evidence-based medical involvement to prevent, monitor, or treat medical disorders or diseases. It is used to either replace, supplement, or support drugs. Lastly, integrated assessment for innovative medical devices. As the name suggests, this is an integrated assessment track for certain innovative medical devices, which significantly shortens the assessment period by various agencies conducting their reviews concurrently. This track is only available for non-invasive innovative technologies, and since this track is available for DTx products, I will explain more about this track at a later slide. This chart describes the 4 assessment stages that medical devices generally must go through to be commercialized in Korea. In the first stage, the product itself is assessed on safety and efficacy through product approval and KGMP certification processes. MFDS is the governing body for this process, and it operates in accordance with the Medical Devices Act. In the following stages, the technology or the procedure that the medical device will be used for is assessed. In the second stage, HERA assesses whether the technology is an existing or a new technology. If the technology is deemed to go beyond an existing technology based on its target, purpose, or method, the assessment will continue to the next stage. In the third stage, NECA assesses the technology's safety and effectiveness based on clinical studies and data. Here, the applicant can choose a pathway that best suits their situation. If they have enough clinical evidence to confirm technology safety and effectiveness, they should go directly to new health technology assessment. If the safety of the technology is clinically supported but lacks clinical data to confirm its effectiveness, the deferred assessment or innovative health technology tracks are more appropriate. In these cases, the technology will have to undergo the new health technology assessment later for it to officially be considered for reimbursement. In the last stage, HERA will assess reimbursement based on market feasibility and cost effectiveness and determine whether the technology will be reimbursable, non-reimbursable, or selectively reimbursable. As I explained, if the safety of the technology is confirmed but lacks clinical data to confirm its effectiveness, it can be determined as an innovative health technology if the potential for its effectiveness and market feasibility is recognized. Upon such determination, the innovative health technology can be used commercially and to gather real-world evidence. This would normally take 390 days when following the general assessment track because each stage must be completed before moving on to the next stage. However, because the government recognized that many cutting-edge technologies are in development and was willing to allow non-invasive technologies to generate real-world evidence to prove its effectiveness, they introduced the integrated assessment track. The integrated assessment track takes 80 days, and the governing bodies conduct their reviews concurrently with the understanding that its effectiveness will not be fully supported by the clinical data at the time of the assessment. With the determination acknowledging its safety and potential, the innovative health technology can be used in clinical practice and generate real-world evidence with some fees eligible for reimbursement. Again, this shortens the assessment time from 390 days to 80 days. The government recently introduced several guidelines concerning temporary reimbursement listings for DTx products. In August of 2023, MOHW and HERA introduced two new guidelines, a reimbursement assessment guidelines for innovative medical tech and reimbursement listing guidelines for digital therapeutics. The latter one is more relevant to today's topic as it is DTx specific. This guideline introduces DTx's eligibility for temporary reimbursement listing, as well as how they shall be used and managed in practice. For example, DTx is only eligible for the temporary reimbursement if it is prescribed by the healthcare professional, which means the only DTx that replaces or supplements drugs would be eligible. Also, a code provided by the DTx company shall be prescribed to the patients to enable and control patient usage, and the patient's usage shall be transmitted to the company, then provided to the medical institution and HERA. The medical institution would use the actual usage information to evaluate the treatment plan, and HERA would use such information for insurance price determination in the future. This is the fee structure for all DTx technologies and products. The temporary reimbursement prices for the prescription and evaluation fees have been announced recently, which are shown on the slide. These fees would be co-paid by the patient and the national health insurance at 20:80 ratio. The DTx usage fee can be selectively reimbursable. However, all companies so far have decided on non-reimbursable. This means that the patient would have to incur 100% of the DTx use fees. Although normally the use price for non-reimbursed medical devices are decided by the company and the medical institution. However, in late July this year, the governing body set a maximum price for the first ever DTx approved for temporary reimbursement to roughly $19 US. This price has been determined after considering various DTx usage fees abroad, companies' requested price, and the actual development cost, ultimately deciding on the actual development cost of DTx. This flowchart demonstrates how a DTx product would be used commercially. So once a DTx has been approved for commercial use, the company would provide the code to the medical institution. When a patient comes to the medical institution and gets diagnosed, the doctor will prescribe a code to the patient. The patient will pay out-of-pocket expenses. This would include 100% of the DTx use fee and 20% of the treatment fee. The medical institution will then pay the company and also report the price and make reimbursement claims to HERA. HERA will then announce the assessment results to the National Health Insurance, and NHIS contributions will be paid to the medical institution, which is 80% of the treatment fee. The patient will download the app and use the prescribed code and use the code as prescribed. And the actual usage history will be transferred to the company, and the company will submit the usage list to the medical institution and HERA. Again, the medical institution will use this information for to determine whether the DTx is effective for treatment, and also the HERA will use this as real-world evidence and consider it when determining the reimbursement in the future. Current listing status. This table shows the DTx products currently approved in Korea. All 4 have been approved as innovative medical devices, but only 2 of them have successfully been listed for temporary reimbursement. And the first 2, which have been successfully listed for temporary reimbursement, they both improve insomnia symptoms. This is an example of the temporary listing for DTx product. As you can see, it specifies the purpose of use, method of use, and the usage period of the DTx product. Here it's 3 years. In conclusion, the MFDS and HERA have introduced the integrated assessment track for non-invasive innovative medical devices, including DTx, in recognition of the need to bring to market these cutting-edge technologies into Korea, despite the fact that the effectiveness of these technologies have not yet been confirmed through clinical studies. The main point of concern is whether this business model put forth by the government can generate revenues for the medical device companies as well as the medical institutions. The governing body is considering various monitoring methods as well as compensation models. Nonetheless, we expect that the DTx products to be commercialized in the future are expected to follow the same temporary reimbursement track. This concludes my part of the presentation, and I appreciate your attention. Dr. Shin, I will turn this over to you.
Hi, you can hear me, right? And I will share my slide. All right, hold on a second. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Today I would like to talk about the promotion of digital therapeutics since now DTx and its global expansion, along with the importance of establishing an open platform to support it. So our initiative named Connect DTx focuses on creating an open platform that fosters collaboration among developers, healthcare providers, and regulators. This platform will serve as a centralized hub for sharing resource data and best practice, and all of them will accelerate the adaptation and development of DTx globally. So I will introduce myself. My name is Jae-Yong Shin, and I'm the CEO of AppTry. AppTry is software as a medical device specified CRO based on Severance Hospital. And I'm also associate professor at Yonsei University. And while I'm very deeply passionate about digital healthcare, but nothing prepare you for the real challenge of being a father of 2 big twins here. So now they are 5. And that's a real-time multitasking like digital healthcare and platform, what I mentioned here. So this is table of contents. So let me introduce why we need this platform. Both companies and hospitals are facing real challenge. For companies, the questions are endless. How do we connect with hospital? Who do we talk to? How can we access prescription data and real-world usage outcomes when every hospital has different system and policies? On the flip side, hospitals may ask, how do we share prescription data with external stakeholders? Who manages DTx in hospital, like pharmacy team, IT team, or whole new task force team? How can you track patient use and interpret outcomes from different DTx solutions? And finally, patient and regulator, they also have some worry. Is this app premium really going to help? Are my data safe? Can I access the same DTx after switching hospital? So all of these concerns lead back to a common problem, the lack of a unified platform. Without it, we see increased operational cost, unreliable usage data, privacy concern, and difficulty in securing evidence for utilization. This is why establishing a standardized platform is so critical for bridging the gap among DTx companies, hospitals, and patients. A DTx platform is essential to solve these key challenges. For patients, we can guarantee some more easy mobile guidance. For hospital, it ensures secure data sharing, and for company and regulator, it guarantees reliable data and ID verification. By creating a unified platform, we can streamline the entire DTx process, ensuring better communication, data security, and consistent results. So the platform was built around 7 core strategies, summarized as connect, C, connectivity, O, overseas, and NOM and network, E, experience, C, convenience, 17, and sale. So with the strategies in mind, we built a platform ready to drive the future of DTx ecosystem. Also, we have 3 concrete objectives. Framework means here establishment of standard processes and guidelines for DTx development and supports capacity building for companies to be med companies. The second one, O, means open platform. So it is designed to be inclusive, allowing any company to connect and integrate. It's not restricted or closed off. It's built to be accessible to all, fostering collaboration and innovation across the digital therapeutic ecosystem. S is service portal. So it provides development and commercialization support services, along with assistance for global expansion. So when we set up the platform 3 years ago, several key requirements were identified through consultation to DTx companies. So one of the biggest issue was integrating digital therapeutics into the prescription process and linking patient information to EMR. It's nearly impossible for individual companies to connect with each hospital on their own. In addition, being a new medtech domain, there is a strong need of a transparent platform to provide trusted data on both efficiency and safety. So we decide to how we can connect our hospital data to external DTx data and vice versa. So we have to keep in mind that this platform should go beyond merely providing convenience for prescription DTx. In fact, it allows public regulator to evaluate treatments, set pricing policies, and assessing safety. Also, patients themselves, as well as CRO like Evertry, we can utilize this data in TMS or in confirmative trials. Or we can collaborate with the new obesity biologics like Wegovy, along with DTx for managing mental side effects such as suicidal ideation or depression. We can all do this with using the platform. But the key to making all this possible is standardization. So we have adopted FHIR or HL7 standards wherever applicable. And in case where such standard didn't exist, we've been working on developing new ones in collaboration with organizations like the IEC with Professor Han here. So I will explain the based on SOMS. SOMS is the first. Sorry, I couldn't make a video for this in English. I asked the GPT, but apparently even AI has its limit. or maybe I don't know how to fully use AI yet. But I will describe in English point by point. Oh, sorry. So we target insomnia because insomnia, the first treatment of choice in insomnia is CBT, cognitive-based treatment. So cognitive behavior treatment. So if we have some more knowledge in insomnia, then we can change some negative to attitude the disease. So we can do that. We can also do that using DTx. That's why we started through the disease here. And first, when a patient arrives, we explain DTx and obtain their consent, and we can check the availability of DTx option in EMR system. So we can check what kinds of DTx we can use among here, and then check. So now we have two insomnia treatment between WERT and AMET, then we can decide which one could be better for the patient. Then we make a e-prescription here. Then once the patient complete payment, the DTx prescription can be transmitted to the DTx platform. So the patient receives the platform information on their phone via message apps like WhatsApp or KakaoTalk. And the e-consent, ID verification, and automatic call. And so we can also monitor how the patient is using the DTx. For example, a bar graph here means the patient's sleep efficiency related to insomnia, allowing for, so it allows us to adjust the sleep medication dosage based on the data. So you didn't sleep well during the weekend, so how about taking another medication during the weekend or something like this? We also highly focused on the scalability. So that's why we are collaborating with the three major EMR companies that covers almost 70% of the EMR system in hospital across Korea. Additionally, we are working with major global companies like IQVIA, Microsoft, and thanks to DTA, you have a lot of help in this project. So we also look forward to building a strong relationship more and more here with all of you. Also, all the DTx products, as Lee said before, all the 4 products can be prescribed through this platform. In Korea, various ministries carried out R&D for different purposes. However, when it comes to linking hospital with external domain, especially for DTx or other AI technology, the Connect DTx platform stands out as unique and likely the standard future. So in essence, a full cycle management platform as shown in this diagram, and this platform facilitates everything from prescription to secure data usage, self-authentication, and real-world data collection. So by doing so, we are creating a seamless flow of information among various stakeholders, including hospital, patient, and regulatory body from government. So we believe this platform will be a game changer in healthcare data management, not just DTx, but also in other areas. I want to emphasize again, hospitals should focus on providing care and on products and regulating effectiveness. So the platform will take care of the rest by connecting, delivering everything. So Evans here and its daughter company, so we can connect other DTx using the FHIR or HS7 standards, and we can also connect to EMR or OCS system. So eventually, all the hospitals are accessible to the DTx or some other AI technologies. That is how we can contribute to healthcare system for various stakeholders. So we'd also love for DTx to play a role in this journey, and Yonsei University is actually, and keep an eye on EverTry, a daughter company of Yonsei University and Korea's first SMD CRO, and we are making waves. Thank you all, and we look forward to collaborating over and over. And sure is always the better presentation. Thank you. So I will move to Tewa. Tewa, are you there?
Yes. And Roberta, can you pull up my screen?
I will pull up the slides now.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone, and yes, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm maybe I'm the final presenter. Yes, and I'm working also at the Yonsei University with Dr. Shin, and also this topic of my presentation is standardization of DTx usability evaluation. It might seem slightly different from what has been presented so far. It actually addressed in the fundamental issue of the standardization. So it underpins everything we've talked about in the past or in the future. Yes, next, please. Yes, let's get started with a short introduction of myself, and the under part is my activity part of standardization is a CKAL and active assisted living, and I in the TC62 the medical equipment, and TC215 and that is the title is health informatics, and TC314 is aging society, and the SSC 43 is established under the JTC1 between ISO and IEC side, and brain-computer interfaces is my lately joining appeals in joint working JTC1 areas. So next slide, please. Yes. So as you already know, maybe the first presenter, Dr. Lee, has already he explained the DTx definition. DTx is clearly defined by DTA, and even if in the FDA, as mentioned in the second sentence in this slide, we are all very familiar with it, which is why we are here for this webinar today, I think. So the thing is that, as you saw in the previous slide, DTx product will continue to emerging in various potential areas. As these products become more widespread, and it's crucial that they are used safely and effectively. So next slide, please. Yes, it's a very interesting slide, and I brought some important and interesting statistics to share with you. On the left, you can see the number of devices connected via IoT, and on the right is the global population for the first half of this year. The number of mobile devices is increasing significantly for exceeding the global population. With the report stating that on average, each person owns about over 5 mobile devices. That is very interesting point. Then we can also at this moment imagine how many devices and apps are being used in these devices, and among them there could certainly be DTx products. Today many manufacturers joined in this webinar. And the next slide, please. Yes. And we can see in this slide, FDA has also defined the digital health technologies, DHT, and categorizing them into 8 groups, as shown in the in this figure. On the right, you can see DTx included. I highlighted at the red rectangular, and what all these DHT categories have in common, as highlighted in the previous slides, the key elements is the yellow box computing platforms, connectivity, software, and sensors, all designed to be suitable for healthcare purposes. And next slide, please. Yes, this is a very interesting trial result from our hospital side. This slide shows our experiences in developing DTx solutions. One example is a product that has already been approved by MFDS and described in the Severance Hospital. Already, Dr. Shin is explained about this entrepreneur. While the other, maybe right side, involves patient trials during development. On the left, you'll see the feedback from the psychiatrist who has prescribed SOMS. This product was applied using the platform presented earlier by Dr. Shin, and the feedback is from the perspective of a describing physician. You can see Dr. Kim states that DTx are a safe alternative that can reduce incidents such as cognitive impairment and falls among elderly patients due to sleeping pill use. But he also emphasizes that for developed digital therapeutics to be more widely used by the elderly person, the program's UX and UI must be tailored to their needs. That's the point of our psychiatrist, Dr. Kim. And yes, actually, the right side, you can see that we have insights from developing a sleep disorder DTx using human centering light. It was some kind of LED. Even though the simplified design with just three buttons, we have only 3 buttons on that lamps. We encountered very numerous issues during prototype testing. In these 2 cases, since the users of DTx are the patient themselves, both UI and UX are directly related to usability. In the case of medical devices, it's very different. Many devices and equipments, such as, for example, MRI, CT scanners, and ultrasound, and even if syringes are often used by individuals other than the patients themselves. This differs from the DTx product, where the patients are direct users. In those scenarios, the users are typically doctors or biomedical engineers who operate the equipment rather than the patient themselves. That's the main point for these slides. And can you, next slide, please? Yes, thank you. So we have 3 terms related to usability that are very familiar with you, but they serve different purposes. For the usability is a core part of user experience, but the user experience is slightly broader in scope. So the developer, just like today's joiner or listeners, must consider both of these things when fine-tuning and optimizing their product. Already the previous slide, Dr. Kim said about point out some lesson learned for the prescribing SOMS product. And you can, for our development and the manufacturing process, it is crucial to ensure that product is designed to be user-friendly and easy to use. So UI, user interface, was making a product attractive and effective according to users' preference. And the UI also aims for functionality. That is key points, one of the key points. And UX, the last purple colored highlighted about that, user experience, making users feel positive about the product. But UX aims to delight for the users. And usability is making the product easy to use. The usability aims for easy of use. That is things. Can you move to the next slide, please? Yes, thank you. Yes, and yes, this is very insight and illustration. Just like in this illustration, it's much more intuitive compared to the texture. This is the difference between UI and UX. UI refers to the original functionality and is well designed to ensure the product works correctly. However, from my perspective, as many of you, as someone taking a dog for a work every morning, I prefer a shortcut that suits my needs, like a quicker or more comfortable route, especially on the hard work core days. So it's about providing a shortcut that brings me comfortable and joyfully. And thing is, usability is the most basic part of them. So next slide, please. Yes. So now let's look at the definitions of usability provided by Nielsen and Jordan's in the original paper. And the usability is defined as enabling users easy to interact with the product, service, or systems in order to achieve a specific goals. So, but they have a different key attributes. The Nielsen's definitions, the key point is usability. That means learnability, efficiency, memorability, error rate, and satisfaction. And Jordan's definition, the main key attribute is guessability, learnability. That is interaction focused, but guessability, learnability is different for the Nielsen's definitions. And can you next slide, please? Yes, here are some definitions in the standards. So ISO and JTC1 have provides these definitions. Of course, these standards incorporate the attribute from the previous two definitions from Nielsen's and Jordan. And you can see these definitions almost similar. The extent to which a system, product, or service can be used by specified users to achieve specified goals with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in a specified context of use. Very similar definitions, but their key attributes are different. So that please keep in mind for the differences of the attributes. And next slide, please. Yes, if we put this on a single slide or the definitions from papers and recently defined of standardization part, and we put this on a single slide, we can see that while Nielsen and Jordan's emphasis on usability and under the the lower side of this slide, the ISO 9241 Part 11 and joint JTC1. Under the JTC1 on ISO IC 25000 series, they can also focus on accessibility and user aesthetics is more important for that. Nielsen's and Jordan's definitions of the usability. That was, in other words, they are general, but serve different purposes in the papers and in the standardization side. So can you move to the next slide? Yes. Yes, this slide can see the usability process mapping for medical standard and the TR setting. Yeah, yes. So this you can see the ISO 62360 can be included the map to TRL and the basic standardization standard under the 14971 and 62304 is very important. You can see the just mapping of a process side. And the next slide, please. And you can see also related published standards like that. And you can see in the next slide, please, in the regulation part. Can you next slide? Yes, regulations part. And the next slide, you can also next, yes. You have some guidelines for the W3D and the FDA's. Also, they published and issued some guidelines for the DTx related. And the next slide, please. So also DTx app usability test framework also standard. It was a relative tools and progress parties like that. And the last that is a TR 11147 is based on the TTA's proposal. And this is the last slide for my final slide. There are some indeed various measures addressing the needs for usability tools and evaluation. Therefore, when planning and developing a specific DTx, it is crucial to have a usability framework that identifies user needs and characteristics, especially before DTx product become more diverse. It is essential to develop usability evaluation standards right now. So, next slide, please. That is my presentations, and I introduced the concept of usability and the current state of usability practices in the DTx side. Just before wrapping up, I'd like to ask your understanding, as I regret I won't be able to attend the panel discussion. So there are any questions or comments for the interested in standard, please email me, and it's always welcome to reach out to me. Thank you in advance so much. Thank you. And yes, yes, Danny.
Great, thank you. Always good to present last because you know, I get to skip over some of the things that are discussed from our previous presenters. Danny Kim, I'll share a quick case study. Hopefully that'll tee up a good conversation for our speakers towards the end of this webinar. So let me talk briefly about, you know, our kind of process navigating through the regulatory and the reimbursement scene. And also, since it wasn't, I guess, discussed in the previous presentation, like what's coming next for South Korea DTx policy and landscape-wise. So for Weld, we're the developer behind SleepQ. We're the second, you know, approved digital therapeutics by MFDS. And, you know, similar to you know, other kind of apps out in the market, you know, we utilize cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, leveraging the sleep diary data that the patients input and that we collect from wearables to deliver the following modules, recommendations for sleep schedule, delivering the right interventions to increase sleep quality, stimulant control, and things of that sort. We gotten our approval towards April 2023, and then was designated earlier in 2022 as a breakthrough medical device by MFDS. Went through the clinical trials and were able to show a meaningful clinical important difference between the medications that are usually used in practice and other comparative DTx. Thankfully, I think Wonu talked a bit more about the overall regulatory reimbursement process, so I don't need to go that much in detail. But just as regulatory reimbursement scene kind of goes in hand in Korea. Only those that are approved as a DTx by the regulatory body is able to go under the reimbursement decision, similar to, I'm pretty sure, how things are in global countries like Germany. That being said, so this was kind of the process that was put in place in August 2020. If you really look at the history of digital health related regulatory history and trends, it goes all back to kind of the Devices Act amendment that included the software, the medical device, all the way down to the guidance that was published that talks about the definition and the workflow chart to determine whether your product is a digital therapeutics or whatnot. So I should say that similar to FDA, Korea has been regulating and reviewing digital therapeutics with guidances in place, and some may call it a soft law. Now that changed towards the end of last year in 2023 as Korea passed an act called Digital Medical Products Act, and this is what the lawmakers may call a hard law that define and provide actual legislative support to MFDS for regulating digital medical products in the scene, including digital therapeutics. So, rather than spending too much time, I think, on the regulatory front from 2020, I'll dive a little bit more into what comes next. Before I do that, I definitely don't want to leave kind of where the industry in Korea is kind of stuck at, and that's currently thinking about the health technology assessment, right? So, our presenters, I think, pointed out correctly that for Korea, after getting the medical device approval or clearance, we do need to go through an extra step process to determine whether this new technology that we're bringing onto the market is similar to the technologies that are already out there. And then more importantly, the government really wants to see if this is truly safe in the real world, and then thinking a bit more about the cost effectiveness, right? So there are kind of the three challenges that we met when we, conversed with NECA, which is the HTA body. It was thinking a bit more about how to prove ourselves, after the regulatory approval in the view of the HTA body and also the payers. In the beginning, as I kind of noted in the slide, they demanded a comparative study between digital therapy and patients taking sleeping pills, but we're able to negotiate so that it's versus the treatment as usual. And one of the logics that we used was really that the current scheme that they proposed or the previous scheme that they proposed is resulting in patients paying for placebo, because we're not only comparing digital therapy and taking sleeping pills, but also the digital therapy versus the sham or a placebo app when they came to the negotiation table. So there are some challenges that are kind of in place of the duplicate efforts by the manufacturers to conduct a study not only in the pivotal phase but also in the payer kind of negotiation phase, and then the price sensitivity of just this mental barrier from prescribers and payers to hesitate prescribing high cost solutions compared to the services that they offer currently at the point of care. And this is also true in Germany, where we recently set up office and are doing market access there. There's good algorithm in German market to determine the pricing there, but we always have to think about the mental barrier from the prescriber that they wouldn't want to pay more than what they get paid for offering a similar service. The opportunity, and this is where I love to go into the Digital Medical Products Act, is that we never really had a hard law in place before this act was put into place. We had a loose definition, and obviously the process chart as to how a regulatory body makes a decision whether a product is digital therapeutics or not. But we never had a full legislative support like the one that was enacted in December of 2023. The background and the main points I'll kind of leave in the slides for to be disseminated later, but it was to improve the public health and in recognition that the existing policies in place won't be able to fully handle the future of this industry and regulation decisions of. So I think what's most pertinent to us is the classifications. So there are new classifications that are put in place for digital medical products, which includes digital therapeutics as well. So these includes products that are used for purpose of diagnosing, treating, observing, predicting, monitoring, and things of that sort. So digital therapeutics definitely fall under this category. And then they also have designated a new class for digital medical and health support device. So this would be FDA's equivalent of mobile medical labs. And these are ones that are not digital medical device, but are used to monitor, measure, collect, or analyze vital signs, or just provide healthcare information. Now, where it becomes really interesting for me is that Korea has introduced this new category of digital medical product called digital convergence medicines. It's very similar to how FDA has laid out Peter's prescription drug use related software. It's when we combine the digital medical devices or the digital support devices, as previously mentioned, with medicine to increase efficacy or safety of medicines in combination. It should be noted that the primary mechanism of action that's laid out in the law is when the medicine or the pharmaceutical component drives the efficacy, and they exclude cases where the main function is digital medical device. This is very similar to how Peter's guidance by the FDA has kind of shown that the PMOA to be listed as pharmaceutical as well. Another thing maybe to be noted is we're still in phase where this is yet to be in effect. It goes into effect next year in 2025. But as we're working towards the final details, the MFDS is pushing for the digital medical medicines to be, or convergence medicines rather, to be reimbursed under a drug reimbursement pathway, which hopefully will shorten a lot of the duration and the hardships that we're facing as a standalone product. What this enables us to do for Welt was, we are working with our pharmaceutical partner to develop a product to predict disease progression and deliver medication optimization in place. So for this, it would be taking in the information that our patients have given us through our digital therapeutics to then deliver just-in-time intervention pharmacologically and also digital therapeutics-wise. So this is all kind of like what's coming up next in Korea, and it's really good that we have a legislation in place. And hopefully it'll serve as a good precedent for other countries to follow. So I'll pause there and then we'll hopefully head into a discussion.
Thank you, Danny. So it was really interesting to hear about your journey in Welt to enter and look at the Korean market, and I believe that's a lot of what a lot of other participants will be interested in. And going back to where we were when we started this webinar, I would like to invite also Mr. Kim and Mr. Lee and Ms. Yu from MDREX. It always starts with the regulatory approvals, right? And one of the interesting things that I've heard is about this innovative medical technology and innovative medical devices, right? And this question is for Mr. Kim of MDREX, and what we wanted to understand is for the innovative medical devices and how the integrated assessment track is there. Is this also available for foreign manufacturers?
Hi, I'll answer on behalf of Mr. Kim. Yes, short answer is yes, it's definitely available for foreign manufacturers as well. So far, however, there hasn't been any approved cases. There seems to be a slight preference towards local manufacturers, but however, it's definitely available for foreign manufacturers as well.
And is that also yes for innovative medical technology, or is that would that also apply for foreign manufacturers?
Yeah.
Thank you. And just to keep mindful of the time restrictions, I would like to then ask another question for Dr. Sarno. You're heading the APEC policy for Digital Therapeutics Alliance, and do you have any plans or any thoughts on how multi-stakeholder organizations like DTA would be able to support different DTx organizations?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Jinsol. And I'd like also to thank our speakers for the great presentation and insights on the Korean market. Yes, so a short answer, yes. I wanted to summarize and share with everyone on this webinar the key initiatives that DTA is leading in the APAC region. So we are facilitating cross-country collaboration between a number of stakeholders involved in the DTx space in the Asia Pacific. So from policy and advocacy initiatives to education and community building and management. So really, I think the power of these organizations is to bring all the experts together and let them work to advance the way DTx are not only introduced to the market, but also adopted in the real life. So this webinar is part of a series of educational webinars that we have launched in July at DTA. And I encourage you to follow us on LinkedIn. Also, I left my email in the chat if you want to know more. I know we don't have much time left, so I just wanted to say hi to everyone and thank you for being part of this webinar today. I hope you found it useful. If you have any follow-up questions for our speakers, please do drop us an email and I'll make sure the questions get answered. Thanks a lot, and I wish you a very good day, everyone, and see you at the next webinar. Thank you very much. Bye.